It's another edition of Time About the Movies. Today we're taking a look at the films of May 31st, 2002. Only 2 movies to look at today, so let's go ahead and jump on in. And we'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, the latest installment of the Jack Ryan series, this time with Ben Affleck in the title role. Well, not really title role, but he's Jack Ryan in this. It's The Sum of All Fears. You know, I've praised the Jack Ryan movies beforehand with The Hunt for Red October, Clear and Present Danger, and Patriot Games. I still really like those ones a lot, and I even like Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit. But this is the one that I don't like. You have an Austrian neo-Nazi who plans to trigger a nuclear war between the United States and Russia so that he can establish a fascist superstate in Europe. After the neo-Nazi scientists build a secret nuclear weapon that is detonated in Baltimore, and a rogue Russian officer paid off by the neo-Nazis attack a U.S. aircraft carrier, the world's superpowers are pushed close to the brink of war, and CIA analyst Jack Ryan, played by Affleck, is the only person who realizes that the Baltimore bomb was a black market weapon, not a Russian one. With the clock ticking, Ryan has to find a way to stop the impending nuclear war. Which, I mean, if you see the movie and you see the fact that the bomb goes off and nuclear war pretty much has already started at that point, but logic takes a big backwards turn in this particular movie, and that's one of the main reasons why I do not like this one as much. Not to say that Ben Affleck is a bad choice for Jack Ryan. I mean, Ben Affleck has more than proven that he could be a good actor. We just saw him in Changing Lanes not too long ago, but in this, it's not his fault the movie is bad. It's the script. The script, I think, is going a little bit too over the top. The fact that we actually see something big happen in this case, when something like Clear and Present Danger and Patriot Games and The Hunt for Red October, it's not as crazy as nuclear war actually happening like it happens in this movie. And you can pretty much, it's one of those ones where you can easily predict who's the real bad guy, who's working for who, and it's just like, the other movies did a very good job of at least hiding it or making it clear from the get-go who's clearly working for the bad guy. Like in Hunt for Red October, you know who the bad guy is. It's Sean Connery. I mean, in Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger, they make it clear that, you know, you don't really know for certain who is behind, who's working for who. And in this case, everyone you see, you can automatically figure out who's working for who, like who is, who's working for the good guys, who's working for the bad guys, and like, there's no mystery, there's no surprise to it. And I think the reason why they have that scene where the bomb goes off in this movie is just like to wake the audience up, because for the most part, this movie is really boring. I remember going to see this movie in the theaters, and honestly, that's the scene from the trailers where the bomb goes off. It was just like, okay, part of me's kind of interested to this. This was actually the first Jack Ryan movie I ever saw, and I'm glad I saw the other ones, because if I saw this movie as my first real introduction to this, I would have never wanted to see the other movies, honestly. But yeah, the movie just isn't entertaining. There's just nothing about it that's interesting. There's nothing about it that's really engaging or exciting. There's no mystery to it that works, and it just doesn't feel like a movie that really knew what they were trying to accomplish here. And I'm glad they turned the series around with the Chris Pine one that came out about over 10 years later, which I still think that's a really good one, directed by Kenneth Branagh. That's one that a lot of people have a lot of mixed opinions on. Some people really don't like it, but that's the one I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed that one a lot. And I've also enjoyed the John Krasinski show on Amazon Prime. I think that's a great show. And this is really the only Jack Ryan associated thing that I've really not been a fan of. And it's just that I don't feel like there's nothing really there. There's nothing really all that exciting or intriguing. And like I said, you can easily figure out who's working for who's the bad guy, and nothing about them is interesting whatsoever. It's just like, if you're gonna give us the bad guy right from the get-go, make him an interesting character. You know, make the situations more interesting and intriguing for the audience to get attached to. And unfortunately for me, it was just not there with this movie. I mean, it's one that I tried to go back to several times, and it's just like, you know, every time I try to watch it, it's just like, I just can't get anything from it, honestly. It's just like, nope, still feel the same way I did when I saw this in theaters, and, yeah, not much more to say about this particular film. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say for you about this one. The Sum of All Fears, easily the worst Jack Ryan movie, easily the worst thing associated with Jack Ryan, hands down. All the other movies, all the TV show, watch those. Don't even bother with this. Like, this is one of those ones where it's just like, yeah, this is pretty bad. So, yeah, some of all fears. So let's go ahead and take a look at the second film we have this weekend, and that is Undercover Brother. So essentially, you've got kind of the black equivalent to Austin Powers. In fact, it even has the writer who wrote the sequels, Michael McCullough's, on the hand to write the script for this, along with John Ridley, who would later go on to write the Oscar-winning 12 Years a Slave. Story is that you have a white, faceless corporate despot known only as the Man, who has the power to unleash a terrifying top-secret weapon, an irresistibly packaged psycho-hallucinogenic drug that will reduce the entire population to mindless zombies, but black folks have soul. But with enough funky sense of style, a smooth way with the ladies, and an absolute hunger for justice with his Bruce Lee moves, Cadillac attitude, and an arsenal of outrageous disguises and gadgets, Undercover Brother, played by Eddie Griffin, is recruited by the group of good guys known as the Brotherhood, an all-black Justice League to foil the Man's plan to derail a Colin Powell-like presidential candidate. And Undercover Brother's undercover exploits keep the slim plot moving. But while he and his sassy cat-fighting partner, known as Sister Girl, played by Aunjanue Ellis, tries to find out what's going on, the leader's ruthless right arm, Mr. Feather, played by Chris Kattan, discovers the conspiracy's sexy secret weapon, Penelope Snow, played by Denise Richards, who is also known as the White She-Devil. And, yeah, this is pretty much what Black Dynamite kind of would perfect a couple of years down the road. But, I don't know, for what this movie was, I think it was fun. It's definitely not as funny as something like Black Dynamite, which, like I said, I think perfected this much better than this movie did. But at the same time, it's still a very entertaining movie. Eddie Griffin definitely shows a lot of comedic opportunities with this. Like, he gets a rare opportunity for a leading role in this when he looks really well here. It's got a great cast overall. I mean, like I said, Griffin, Kattan, Richards Ellis, Dave Chappelle's in this, Chia McBride, Neil Patrick Harris, Gary Anthony Williams, Billy D. Williams, James Brown, Robert Townsend. I mean, they got a lot of good people in here. Jim Kelly has an uncredited cameo in here as well. I mean, there's a lot of things about the movie that work. A couple of jokes in here, I'll say this, not every single joke in this works, and I think that's really one of the biggest flaws that really makes me keep this from saying this is a classic movie. I think the film as a whole is a good film. I don't think it's a perfect film. I think, like I said, I think not every single joke works, but the ones that work are legitimately funny. And for a PG-13 movie, I really wasn't expecting a whole lot. I don't think PG-13 is like, there are times when PG-13, like, it really depends on which direction they go with it. Do they go for the safe route? Do they go for something that's close to an R rating? And this one, for the most part, goes closer to more raunchy material that's not really an R rating. And like I said, when it works, it works. When it does, it's not the worst thing ever, because they move on to something else and essentially becomes something much better and different afterwards. And yeah, I think it works okay. There are a lot of aspects I do like about it. Not everything about it works, like I said, but it is something that is at least something I can recommend as something like a good, fun time. Like, you can watch it, have a good time with it. It's not one I'd watch on repeat numerous times, but it's something that every once in a while, if it's on TV and there's nothing else on, I'll definitely check it out. I mean, it's definitely worth it, but it's not one I'd say that's a must-watch. I mean, it's a good movie. Not a great film, but it's definitely a very good movie. And I like this director, Malcolm Lee, a lot. He also did The Best Man. And, like I said, I thought it was fine for what it is, but good, not great. That's probably the best way to describe Undercover Brother. Good, not great. And so with that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. We'll jump into June on the next episode with the star-studded divine sequence of the Ya-Ya Sisterhood. We also have Anthony Hopkins and Chris Rock in Bad Company from producer Jerry Bruckheimer. And we'll take a look at both of those movies on the next episode. But until then, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the plays on the next page. Check out the previous video. And also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. Don't go too far away, because coming up after I upload this, on Time About the Movies Flashback, will flashback to Friday the 13th of May, 1988. And coincidentally, there's a new Friday the 13th movie out. Friday the 13th, The New Blood. We'll look at that. We'll also look at Bulletproof and also The Kitchen Tonto. And so we'll take a look at all those. That's going to be coming up right after this.